Hello everyone, this is Perfume Coast, so welcome to my channel. Today's video will be dedicated to a new release of 2025 called Chloé Nomade Lumiere de Egypte, and without further ado, let's jump into the ocean of perfumes. So now that coldest season is coming in less than a month in Europe, I thought it would be only fair to review a new 2025 release that sort of slipped because it was released early in the year, catering to in between the season time, but in my view it never got proper attention it deserves. And this is no other than, as said before, Chloé Nomade Lumiere de Egypte. But first, let's talk a bit of some flankers that I own, referred to Nomade line, just to understand it a bit more. This one is one of those lines where flankers are all different, and those I've tried or have really deserve to be called individual perfumes each. So let's start with Chloé Nomade or G, and therefore let's get reminded of the notes it has. So according to Fragrantica, what we have on the top is the following. So it's Mirabelle, bergamot, lemon and orange. In the middle there's freesia, peach, jasmine and rose. And finally in the base there's oak moss, patchouli, amberwood, white musk and sandalwood. So this fragrance goes back to 2018 and it is simply a class in a bottle. It's considered to be a chypre perfume for women because key building block in here is oak moss. And of course these days oak moss note is associated more with men's cologne-like releases, while in fact chypre profile was initially created as feminine catering one. Then, a few years back, also oak moss was banned in many markets due to occasional allergic reactions that some people might have encountered. So, therefore now the natural extraction is replaced by lab-created chemical equivalent. But back to this fragrance, while oak moss is front and center in here, it's blended beautifully and craftily with other notes such as Mirabelle plum, which seems to be a shared DNA of this line borrowed by many of its flankers, and there is also a variety of citruses such as bergamot, lemon and orange, and also fruity peach and rose undertone. So in the base the whole composition is amplified by the notes of amberwood and patchouli. So in the end, whilst being an extremely powerful note, oak moss in here is part of a beautiful choir of citrusy, fruity and floral facets. So what I'm smelling here is this beautiful concoction of unique notes that really fail me to come up with any comparison. So all I can say is that it gives me the vibes of slightly damp enchanted pine forest after the rain, where sweet juicy fruits are growing, and also there are some flowers in there such as rose and freesia. So you are breathing in this slightly dampy after the rain freshness, and this freshness has the vibe of dew drops on leafery and flower petals. So very unique and complex fragrance that I strongly recommend to test out if you haven't done so already. So then in 2024 another flanker came out that I own and it's called Nomade Naturelle. And very quickly, let's get reminded of the notes on this one. So according to Fragrantica, on the top we've got dates and Mirabelle. In the middle there's Egyptian jasmine and freesia. And finally in the base there's vanilla, sandalwood and oak moss. So this perfume is quite something different, although yet again, as with the OG, the shared notes of oak moss and Mirabelle plum are there. But here these notes are far on the background, and the perfume itself though is very sugary sweet. That's clearly a gourmand profile. And this is due to the presence of a very rare note of dates, especially for a designer perfumery, which gives off the slightly fruity sugariness. So this perfume is also quite jasmine heavy, but this jasmine is not indolic at all, but it nicely balances utter sweetness of sugary dates. And finally, the perfume that this video is dedicated to, it's called, again, Nomade Lumiere de Egypte by Chloé. And let's have a look at the notes that Fragrantica is coming up with on this one. So on the top we've got blue lotus, in the middle there's jasmine, pink pepper and elemi, and finally in the base there's sandalwood, myrrh, kefi and cinnamon. So this one is in fact a second iteration, or subflanker if you like, of 2024 Chloe release Nomade, which is called Nuit d'Egypte, which was the spicy wintry cinnamon heavy orange blossom with a touch of Middle Eastern style. So this one is yet again completely its own fragrance, which is in the tradition of Nomade line, though it seems, as said before. It does share some notes with Egypt subline because it has myrrh and kifi in here, which lends this spicy and powdery qualities. But this one is much less intense and sweet as compared to Nuit d'Egypte. And as far as the connection with Nomade line as such is concerned, in my view, there is nothing here in common either with OG or any other flanker. So, as mentioned earlier, this perfume is a bit spicy, very powdery, and not sweet at all. And all this is amplified by the lotus note that makes this concoction fresh and floral. So, if I could come back to my comparison of OG to an enchanted forest, this forest would have this sort of swampy lake with water lilies floating over. Again, very unique and pleasant release that glues together nicely such opposing profiles as spicy one and fresh one. But that's it, guys. This wraps up the video. If you've liked this video, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing. Please share your comments, if any. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.